this. It's a transformer. It takes AC power and converts it into DC. I think it's for 9 volts, I think. 9 volt DC. So it converts 120 volt AC into 9 volt DC. And I got to plug this in on the floor. Can I reach it? Tell you what, I need an extension cord, so I don't have to worry about tripping over it. I'll be back in a moment. I have an adapter that hooks up to AC power on the floor. Of course, if you're out stargazing, you don't have that. But if you have your car nearby, which oftentimes one does, you can use, there's a one that goes into the power outlet in your car. Okay, there's like a lighter, or a lighter, so you can power it off your vehicle. Or if you have an outlet in your car, you can use this. Okay. And the point of these power outlets is when you power up the scope, there's a motor inside of it that automatically changes the right ascension at the exact rate the Earth is rotating, or the celestial sphere is rotating around, depending on how you want to think about it. So once you train it on a star, you turn on the motor, it will basically stay with it, if you've aligned it correctly. If you're not aligning it to the North Star, then it's going to drift a little bit over time. But if you set it up just right, it's going to track that star. Okay? Which is kind of neat. So let's plug this in. Then we'll plug this in here. It says, well, that's weird because this says 9 volts and this says 12 volts. So either this is the wrong adapter or something's mislabeled. It's on, so it must be okay. That's 12 volts. Okay, I never noticed that. That's something new. Okay, now this right here. Actually, we don't need that one. Got a couple of other cords here. Yes. In here, we've got the hand control unit. And by the way, all of this is explained in here. I just have done it enough times that I'm not reading the instructions. But in here, there's a step-by-step description of how to set it up. So, so you can use this when you're setting it up and just kind of look through and make sure you're doing it in the right order. So this will be a supplementary aid for you in setting this up. So this is a hand control unit. It's kind of neat because it allows you to press these buttons and adjust the right ascension and the declination by hand. So you don't have to start fiddling with the knobs. Okay? So the HCU hand control unit plugs in right here. It's like a little telephone jack. Okay. And then this right here, it says deck. You attach this, it's like a telephone cord, from declination into right here. And this is the declination motor. Okay? And now the nice thing is that you can use these buttons, and you won't see it because it's changing it by a very small amount, but it's changing the declination or the right ascension depending on which of these I use. Yes?
Do you need to worry about them being locked at all while we do that?
So no,
Okay.
These ones actually, they should be locked when you're using this.
Okay.
But when you're doing it by hand, you have to unlock this one. That's a good question. So you can have them locked when you're doing this. In fact, they should be locked.
Gotcha.
Okay? Great question. All right, and this is just an extra thing. All right. Questions so far? All right. Let me see if there's anything else I want to explain. Will not use that or this. Don't need any of that stuff. These are more lenses, and these are filters also. So I have all kinds of filters in here, like color filters, yellow and green and red and so on. Those are for more sophisticated, like photography stuff. And filtering out ultraviolet light and so on. So there's all different filters in here. Let me see if there's anything else I want to mention. Probably what I'll have you do when you set this up indoors, I'm probably going to have us set it up here in the science building, and we're going to do it in this hallway right here, at one end of the hallway. And then I'm going to ask you to try to align it, looking at, like, from way down at that end of the hallway, try to align the finder with, there's like the bubble art up on the second floor, those red and green and blue circles. So kind of aim it there and try to train it on there and get this lined up with that, okay? We can't do it in here because nothing's far enough away and it's dark outside, so I'm not gonna be able to see something very well, okay? But I'm gonna ask you to like basically set it up like this, and then to align this finder with this and be able to see something, okay? That's the goal. Questions? Okay, and let me say one other thing about the